Hare Krishna and Gauranga. Welcome to the Hare Krishna Runners YouTube channel. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed already, please hit the subscribe button and also the bell icon so that you get post notifications and you're notified every time we upload a new video. Please also like the video, leave a comment on the video and share it with your friends so we can spread this message far and wide. So today we are going to be doing a video all about coming back from injury, how to deal with injury and how to come back from injury. So please stay tuned for the rest of the video. So yes, I think there are three components about how to deal with injury and how to come back from injury. So number one is stay positive. Don't become morose. Don't be disappointed. Number two is to do some cross training. And number three is don't do too much too soon. Yes, just to put this video into context, I did the Great North Run about just over 4 weeks ago now, and it was the first time I'd done the Great North Run. It wasn't my first half marathon, and it was an amazing experience. I had a really nice day. I had a really nice training block leading up to the race. But what happened was that during the race, maybe about halfway through, Great North Run is a half marathon, so maybe around 6 or 7 miles, I started to feel a little twinge in my back. And sometimes that happens when you're out running, or if you're training, or if you're running a race. But often, it's just a little twinge. It doesn't really lead to anything. And obviously with the adrenaline of the race, I was able to just push through it, and it didn't really affect my race. However, when I got to the finish, I have to say, by the way, I did do a 4-minute PB, so I was really happy with the race. But, as soon as I finished the race, within a couple of minutes, I sat down for a moment, and then when I stood up, I realized I couldn't walk. No exaggeration, I was literally hobbling along. In fact, I was, my pregnant wife was supporting me. That's how bad it was. Yeah, I was in absolute agony for the rest of that day. And then for the next few days, I was in absolute agony and I could hardly walk. So I tried to do some light stretching, which was certainly helping. And it seemed to be getting better. So after a week, the following Sunday, I went for an easy run. I did a 5K easy run, but I was in absolute agony. And I thought, oh, this seems to be worse than I thought it was going to be. So yes, basically what happened was, after 2 weeks, I had to go to the doctor. I thought this isn't going away anytime soon. I better go and see and check I haven't done any serious damage. So thankfully the doctor, she examined me. She said there was no serious damage. There was no skeletal damage, nothing like a slipped disc or anything, but that it was my lumbar, at the lower part of my back and on the right hand side that I'd strained the muscle. And she said it would take up to 6 weeks to recover. And so that was it really. So when I heard that news, of course, I was very disappointed. So yes, number one, don't be disappointed, stay positive. So initially I was disappointed because basically I thought while I still had, my fitness from the half marathon, and basically I guess I'd been building up my fitness throughout the whole year. Previously, before the half marathon, I'd done a 10K. And so I guess all my training up until this point of the year was leading me up to this point. So I thought I'm going to do one more half marathon before the end of the year. Either that, or there is a 10-mile race that's taking place in Leicestershire this weekend. And I think Dara from the Hare Krishna Runners, she's doing the 10K. And Jaini Tai and Bhava Bhakti Prabhus, they are doing the 5K. So I thought it would be a nice chance to go and run with some fellow Hare Krishna runners. And also I thought if I did the 10-mile race, that would be great because I've never done a 10-mile race before. And that would be, something to tick off my list. And also my wife and I were expecting our second baby around Christmas. So when the new baby comes, it's certainly going to affect my training and I won't be able to do as much running. So I thought, before the baby comes and I've still got a lot of fitness, let me do another race. So the first thing was I did become disappointed. I thought, oh no, I'm not going to be able to do another race. And not even I haven't been able to do any running. It's been 4.5 weeks now since the Great North Run. So yeah, that was initially disappointing. But actually, so I had my plans. Like they say, man proposes and God disposes. Or one devotee used to say, man plans and God cans man's plans. So I had one plan, but Krishna had another plan. But, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Matra spashastu kuntiya shitoshna sukadukada agama payano nitjas tam statikshashra bharata. Krishna says that we have to learn to tolerate the temporary appearance of happiness and distress. Happiness will come, but then it will go, and there will be some distress. But don't worry, that distress will also be temporary, and then some happiness will come again. Just like right now, the weather is starting to get cold and dark and miserable. And it's even hard sometimes to get motivated to go for a run at this time of year, because it's not like in the summer when it's light and it's warm and it's fun to run. But we shouldn't become so disturbed because, this winter will soon pass and the summer will come again. So, what can you do? We have to remain positive throughout distress. We have to remain Krishna conscious throughout distress. So that was the first component. Yes, component number 2 is that we should do some cross training. So one of the things the doctor told me was that the worst thing you can do is not to do anything at all, because in that way all your muscles will seize up. So she said do some walking, do some gentle stretching, and do some swimming. She said even you can do a little bit of running if you find it's okay, but don't do anything too strenuous. But certainly going for walks and especially doing things like swimming are very good. So this is a type of cross training. It means to do some other form of exercise, particularly some aerobic exercise to keep your fitness up, but you're not putting pressure on the same muscles or the joints that you would do if you were running. So yes, so I've been doing that. I've been doing some walking. Last week I went swimming a couple of times and I certainly found that help. It helps to keep your fitness up. But as I say, it's not putting the same pressure on the injury that running would do. But yes, she did say also if you can go for a run. So this morning I went for a 5k run. I went for an easy run. And I won't lie, actually I could still feel that my back was a little bit tight. So even though it's 4.5 weeks on from when I got the injury, it still is a little bit tight. So it felt really good to be back out there running again. But now this brings us on to the third component. So yes, the third component is don't do too much too soon. So like I said, I went for a run this morning and it felt great to be back out there running again. However, I could feel that my back was still a little bit tight. So therefore I'm not going to do too much too soon, because the tendency is that we want to get back out there again after we have been injured and we've had time off. We are a little impatient, but if we do too much too soon, the chances are we'll get injured again and we will actually make our injury worse. And in this way we can, extend the time. It will be even longer till we can get back to running again. I had this experience myself in 2019. I did the Sunderland 10k and my training had been going really well. But a couple of weeks before the race, I hurt my foot. So much so that I had to stop during a training run, and I'd never stopped before. So I didn't do any running at all then for 2 weeks leading up to the race, and I'd pretty much resigned to the fact that I wouldn't be able to do the race. But then somehow or another I thought, okay, I'll be able to do it, I'll just try and run a little bit more slowly. And what happened was that day I actually got a stress fracture in my foot, and I had to wear a moon boot for 11 weeks. I was on crutches for 6 weeks, and basically I wasn't able to run for about 6 months after that. So I learned the hard way from the School of Hard Knocks. Don't do too much too soon. So yes, those are my 3 components about how to deal with injury and how to come back from injury. Firstly, stay positive. What can you do, 2, do some cross training. And 3, don't do too much too soon. And so the last thing I wanted to say before we finish the video is, if you haven't already, do please get some Hare Krishna Runners merch. This is one of our Hare Krishna Runners hoodies. As you can see, it says Hare Krishna Runners, Go Runga. And the same on the back as well. I will put a link in the description on this video where you can get hoodies, t-shirts, vests. So please support the Hare Krishna Runners and spread the holy names far and wide. So when we're running, we can share Hare Krishna with everyone else. I guess the last thing I'll say is Happy Kartik, and yes, please continue to tune into our videos and share them with your friends. Happy running and Go Runga.